Hey, business building warrior, it's Jim. We've got an exciting interview today with two students from our community who have built a beautiful business. It's Scott and Jerry Shelton, and they were actually part of our proven replan training program, which means we sent someone to their hometown and went out with them, helped them get their business started, got everything they needed in place, went shopping with them, found a whole bunch of unique products that they could sell. And we check in with them today and get an update on how their business is going. They've got some really cool insights to share, some stuff we've never talked about before on today's program. Just a neat couple. They've been entrepreneurs a lot of their life. They've also held traditional jobs, but they're looking to turn this into something that they can do as a couple in retirement. And they're well on their way. They've built a beautiful business, and I think you're going to really enjoy getting to know this really cool couple. They're also hoping to join us in Tampa as well for our conference in July. If you're listening to this before July 2021, you can go to theprovenconference.com and plan to join us there and meet this couple and hundreds of other really great people who are also listeners to this podcast. We'd love to have you there as our guests. So we're going to meet a couple of proven Amazon course students in just a moment. That's how they got started. I love that Scott shares as part of his story that they checked us out for about a year and a half before we finally pulled the trigger. And you'll hear his version of the story here in just a moment. I really enjoyed that in particular, but a whole lot of other great observations and tips and strategies from a couple that are out there doing it. And what prompted this episode, before I get them on the line, was the fact that they had just passed $200,000+ in sales, and they were excited. They made a post in the Facebook group, and I reached out to them, and they said, yeah, they'd love to do a podcast with us. So that's what led to this episode. So maybe you're wondering if your story is good enough or interesting enough. Yeah, it is. If you're succeeding online using creative strategies, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to share your story on this podcast. So reach out to us. Again, all the links we're going to mention today are going to be at silentjim.com in the show notes for today's episode. Or if you're watching on YouTube, there's links near this video for everything we're talking about. You can go check it out there. Thanks for watching. Let's get Scott and Jerry on the line right now. Hey, welcome to the show, guys. Good to have you here. Let's jump right into your story.
Thank you. It's good to be here. I appreciate it.
Yep. And before we get started, though, we do want to give a call out to all service members since today is Memorial Day.
That's right.
We do want to thank all members, past and present, for the sacrifices they and their families make. Our oldest son is in the Navy.
Beautiful. So, that's the shirt for those who can't see. Yeah, and we are actually recording this on Memorial Day. We're here working hard. Navy Dad.
So,
I love
it. And we appreciate you taking time away from your family too. But there's a lot of sacrifices that go along with the service and the service members. So we want to make sure we acknowledge them on today specifically.
Since you opened that door, a little bit of military family history from my family. I don't know if you've ever been to the Big Island out in Hawaii, but the USS Arizona is, the memorial there, the ship that actually sunk during Pearl Harbor attack. And there's hundreds of men actually buried at sea on that ship. One of them is my grandpa's brother, who is arguably one of the first men killed at the start of before we entered World War II. So strong military history and tradition in my family as well. To all who served, mainly today, to all who sacrificed. And those listening to this episode, it's been, several days after the recording's done, but we certainly stand in appreciation of military families and military service every day around here. So I share that with you. Thank you guys for serving, and your son as well.
Thanks for letting us get the plug in.
Ethan, right? You said?
Alex
that's the other son. I got
Ethan's our youngest. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
2 boys.
Yeah. Well, I grew up with 2 boys too. So I know the gig. Well, I've got 4 boys of my own. So I know the gig with boys.
Yeah, so
it's the girl thing I'm still trying to figure out, our little daughter, but she's beautiful and amazing.
Too was good.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, let's jump into your Amazon and your e-commerce story. I want to hear it.
Well, I think probably back, 10, 15 years ago, I sold used books on Amazon, and I sold my kids' used clothes on eBay. And that was the extent of my e-commerce experience. And Scott had jumped around for, probably a year and a half looking for a program for us to start selling on Amazon. Well, not for us. I'm sorry, for him. I had no interest at this point in time. No interest at all. I had a job that I liked. I made good money. I worked part-time. I did not have any interest in starting an e-commerce business.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
So there was some resistance there.
Yeah, well, I pushed, but I spent a lot of time researching, and I almost pulled the trigger on a couple other courses, but I always came back to the pack. One was, the price point. That was one of the things. But the other thing was the other courses, they come and go, and people that jump up and down and scream real loud, try to get your attention. You never do that, and I don't know. I just had a feeling about the group and the longevity. So I just kept coming back, and then finally, I purchased it, and I was trying to get her interested, and there's still no interest.
What was this, Scott? How long ago did you buy the Proven Amazon course?
I'm going to say, well, it's got to be 2 years ago, ballpark now.
Okay. And you researched for how long?
Probably, I was watching YouTube videos and stuff, probably a year and a half.
Right.
Because I have a full-time job, and, and we're not new to being business owners. We owned I worked for General Motors in Detroit years ago, and decided that maybe I didn't like being a number. And so one day I came home, locked myself in my office, and she said, where are you going? I said, I'll be out in a little bit. Came out and said, I'm flying to North Carolina next weekend. And the weekend after that, I bought a business and gave me 2 weeks notice, and our whole household like that. And off we were. We bought a little convenience store in the middle of nowhere in North Carolina, and turned it into a pretty good truck stop. So we did that for like 17 years.
Wow.
And then we sold
I'm
that
sure there's 100 amazing stories from that. I wish this was a show about that, because I love entrepreneurs at any kind.
Yeah. So that one we took from like 300,000 on paper, which it was never really anywhere near that. But that's a completely different story. But, we sold, it was about $2 million a year. So, that was a success story. We had many, many families that we supported of our employees over the years. And that was a point of pride for us. We took care of a lot of people while we built that. And then we sold that one and started a business in Florida that wasn't as successful. And I didn't like that one. So we sold it. And then I went back into corporate world. And this is my second gig back into the corporate world. And, I'd like to get back into entrepreneurship at some point, but we didn't want the ties of retail.
Yeah.
So that's when I started investigating e-commerce.
So you're taking your time because you're working full time.
Yeah, more than that.
And Jerry's selling on the side, just some books and some used clothes and things. That was all eBay, you'd said, right?
That was back when that was probably 15 years ago.
Oh, that's a long. Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah. Really that was when it was just books. And then, so I bought the pack, and I'm nudging her and nothing. And I was kind of looking at private label at that point, because that was pretty much all the videos on YouTube were private label.
That most of them still are.
And then this replens thing came around.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think I can get her to buy into this. So I bought it. It was before it was part of the pack. I bought it and just showed her, and still nothing. Just nothing. But she got furloughed during COVID from her job with Estee Lauder. And so then she stepped back and took a look at it, and then I talked to her about the coaching. And so then we jumped into the coaching, and just to speed things along. And here we are a year later, so that's just about a year.
Well, it's wise to listen to your wife, man. The timing, I'm sure, ended up being perfect. I've learned that lesson after coming up with 27 years. Typically when my wife's resistant to an idea, it's because it's a bad idea or it's not the right time. So I've learned that lesson many times, but it sounds like you guys got in at a great time, because anyone who's ran with this concept in the last year or so, it's just been a beautiful time to enter the market. I want to get into your business. Like, talk me through, how long did it take you to get up to speed? Do you guys do this together? Give us some of those details.
I do most of up until about a month and a half ago, I was doing it all myself. Scott helps me. He's very good at sourcing. He has the patience to stand in an aisle for hours, if that's what it takes. I don't have that patience. I go through, look for 3 or 4 things, but I don't find anything. And I go to the next. On. Yep. But he has the patience for that. We've hired my first employee, and she has been just a true godsend. She's wonderful. She's excellent at sourcing. She's a hard worker. She's wonderful on the computer, which I'm not. And so she kind of, everything I'm not good at, she is good at. So we're very good together. Scott does he does all the packing. We're still doing the prepping. We're still at this point in time doing all replen, all FBA. We're going to start doing FBM because we've got some things that we want to sell and can't.
Yes, that'll change your life.
Where I've got one wholesale company that I'm getting some real good prices from. And what we're working on right now is trying to step away from the big stores, Walmart, and really making an effort to build relationships in some of the smaller regional stores.
Good for you.
So that's where we're getting a lot of our business right now is the smaller stores. The store managers, the assistant store managers are great to work with. They're starting to order us cases of things instead of me having to go in and to 5 different stores and try to get enough for my replan. So that's been a real
story
plus.
Of one of those relationships, either one of you, once we hear in a moment. But I'm also curious, you mentioned your first hired help was a sourcer, which is a brilliant first hire, because I learned this from Dave Ramsey's book, Entree Leadership, that the first person you hire is someone who goes out and hunts and drags meat back to the cave. Like, you don't want to hire someone that does the stuff you don't want to do. You want someone that's out there making you money as your first hire. And then you use those new funds to start the convenience hires, the people that do the stuff you don't want to do, touching box tape, etc. Right? But you mentioned she was a sourcer. Now, is she actually trained on how to go source, or is she just a shopper?
No, she watched the Jimmy's whole course, and
nice.
We worked on her with Keepa, Scoutify, everything that we use. She's actually better than me.
That's
and
great.
she loves it. Every time she goes out shopping, she'll text me, I found this.
Beautiful.
You just learn how to do that. You're out shopping for yourself, and then you end up coming home without the milk because you've spent the whole time sourcing when you're there.
That's me. I can't help it. I got 2 or 3 things to grab at the store. I come back with a couple $100 in the car and do stuff like new replens or at least some pictures to review later. Okay, but how do you pay this helper of yours? I'm sure people are going to be curious. Like, what's your arrangement there?
What can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's unique. She's not just a sourcer. Let's take a half step back.
Sure.
She's handpicked. She's somebody that we were familiar with, and she was familiar with us. And she started asking questions, and I started giving her little tidbits just to feel her out. But she was handpicked to be our replacement. She's not our sourcer. We're training her to run the business. And that was the understanding from the get-go that she was going to learn. As we learned, she has access to everything except the last bank account. And she's learning the business with us.
Well, you bringing her to Tampa with you then in July?
Possible.
Yeah, you need to. It's on me if you do. Okay. I want her there.
Yeah, probably not.
But that was the intent. Is she's very hardworking. She's a very honest person, and we know there's the risk that she'll go off and start her own. But she does great for her. But the arrangement we made with her was. She had a full-time job, and she wanted more time with her children. She's got 3 young children, and she wanted the flexibility to do what she needed to do. So that's the arrangement.
Gotcha.
She said, I need to make this much money. We said, okay, in return, we want this range of hours. And she said, fine. So we pay her what she needed, and she has the flexibility. She and Jerry work their schedule out every week. We know which days we want to ship, and we go from there. We just spent 4 days in Florida. We went to visit our youngest son. She shopped the whole time we were gone. We made an arrangement. We went and met her. She had everything prepped. in boxes, and we shoved it from back of her truck to the back of my truck and brought it on home. So
That's
because
fantastic.
there was no daycare open today, so because of the holidays. So
Right.
that's what she wanted.
Yeah.
And it worked for us. So that's
Is she a single mom the way you said it, or is she married?
No, but her husband's a contractor.
Gotcha.
And so they work 7 days a week, and and she just wanted to be home with them. She didn't want
the flexible arrangement, and she can take her kids with her. It reminds me much of, like, you hear stories. Honey Woods she'll take her 6 kids out with her. She's a single mom. She'll go out sourcing, shopping, prepping. The older ones are old enough now; they can help a little bit. But it's an amazingly flexible opportunity. And so you guys just are basically paying her what she needs, a flat rate, and she's learning it all and growing. And at some point, she's going to be a part owner.
Right. Well, yes, maybe. That's
if it works out. Yeah. I don't know what the future holds, but sure.
I know how much we've discussed. We know how much we want to make. What we want for retirement. We started this as for our retirement. You can see we're not really young. So, and being self-employed for a few years, we put money away, but it's not the same as working 30 years for some corporation these days. So This was our retirement. So we're not greedy. I've set the goals. They know how many items I wanted to ship a week. Mm-hmm. I've given them some guidelines as to, this is where I want to be. And when we get to that point, anything above and beyond that, we can split with her, do whatever we want to do.
Yeah.
But I've given her the baseline for what we want. So
grow it. That's beautiful. Okay. So I wanted to hear, before we get into some numbers, I wanted to hear a story of one of these. You mentioned some of these mid-level store, regional stores, probably a better way to say it, managers, assistant managers, some of these relationships. Tell me a story behind one of your products that kind of ignited out of a relationship. I always like focusing in on the relationship angle, because I think too many sellers try to do this with spreadsheets and tools and impersonal, never dealing with other humans. You got to involve other people. So share one of those stories, because Jerry, you started to tell me a little bit about some of that.
Well, probably the first one was just a matter of Scott just stopped into a store and introduced himself, said, "Hey, my wife has an Amazon business, and we love to buy your product." And I didn't expect them to give me, I just wanted to get better than retail.
Right.
And it turns out that her father-in-law is a district manager. And so they're selling me the product that I need at their cost, which is, it's amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know if we didn't ask for that. I just wanted something a little better than retail.
It probably helps them get some kind of bulk discount or something. They have quotas to hit certain, buy quantities, and they get discounts or whatever. So hopefully it's making sense for them. But yeah, that's beautiful. So how much off retail is that on average?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, well, let's just say, Walmart retails it for right around $3. And I think we're paying
$170.
$170 now.
Wow. Almost half off retail.
And Walmart sells it at just a few percent points over what they pay most things. So
how much of this have you sold? Just a round figure, like how much money have you put in the bank as a result of this one ASIN? If you had to guess, approximate.
I do a 2-pack and a single, and probably I buy probably 6 cases a month, and there's 24 in a case.
So, it's not huge numbers, but they all add up.
The 2-pack sells for $14.99, and the single sells for $9.99. So it's not huge, but that's just the first.
And how long have you been doing it?
Well, we've been selling it all along, but it goes back to our training day with Carl. They sourced it when they were training. I just found a way to get it cheaper. That's all.
Oh, did you guys have the on-site training with Carl?
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
We need to talk about that too. Then I'd forgotten that part of our story. Okay, yeah. That's awesome. But so that's been how long ago was Carl there when you started this?
It's June 11th and 12th of last year.
From now,
so we're coming up on a year.
Yeah, just about a year.
So, we're talking thousands of dollars, thousands, and probably.
Well, certainly upwards of $1,000. Yeah, from that one stop.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I'm trying to do in my head is that one simple conversation, just opening your mouth boldly one time and saying, "Hey, we sell on Amazon. We want to buy some of your stuff." That one short conversation can lead to so much opportunity. And if we could monetize the value of that 5-minute interaction that initiated this. That's the power of this business. That's the local advantaged opportunity that people have. You guys have advantages I'll never have. Everyone listening to this has local advantages that none of the rest of us will ever have if you're willing to have those kinds of conversations. That's the point I'm trying to make. Thousands of dollars in the bank. And that's just one product. How many products are you guys selling? ASINs total?
Well, we were talking about it this morning. We're about 450, and she thinks around 420 are active right now. The other ones are kind of seasonal. We turn them on, turn them off. So
that's phenomenal. That's great. And what other numbers are you comfortable sharing with us?
I mean, we can give you numbers. I mean,
roundabout's fine. You don't have to be exact.
No, I mean, we're not. There's certainly people that we see on the webpage that are doing better than us, but we've had some really good months. I mean, we're averaging around 20,000 a month. So we had 28,000 one month, and what's really happened to us here recently. We're changing gears a little bit. That's why we're going more regional. Is we were doing really, really well, and we had some really big sellers, but we were buying most of it at Walmart, and everybody's training at Walmart. And pretty much across the country, Walmart's the same. So Amazon got on. It's like they got a hold of our store and went right down our store, and they've just ravaged, and we lost all of our big sellers. We lost them all. And so I got with Jerry and our helper and said, look, we need to outsource again. We need 100 new. And I think we probably did that in 3.5, 4 weeks.
Say 3 weeks.
100 new ASINs in less than a month.
Yeah. And that was by moving into regional stores. And our helper is 4 foot nothing, very
tiny little
thing. Tiny and wouldn't give anybody pause, and she's a great talker. And she's going into all these stores and meeting these assistant managers and these managers and saying, look, we'll buy thousands of dollars from you if you can just buy these in the cases and give us a little break. And, their ears perk right up. Thousands. Yeah, I don't care where we spend it. I'd rather spend it regionally than at Walmart. So
yeah, that's what I tell. I have some people, I'll buy a case or two a month. Like, the wholesalers printed, the distributors printed right on the bottom. Why do you come to me? Like, I'm not going to go around a local neighbor and friend to save 25 cents a sale. I want to work with you. You're hiring people. You're trying to run a business. So am I. Let's work together, create advocates. And they introduce me to other people. And I get texts from them like, hey, is this a product that's interesting to you, Jim? Would you guys consider selling this? Texts out of the blue because you've got these local relationships. I love it.
Yeah, they're huge. They're huge. That's really how we built our truck stop business was, when you work with me the way I want to be worked, the loyalty is there. I didn't switch companies. I stuck with them, and we built the business together. And that's what we're hoping to do with these local stores. If they've got 3 or 4 or 5 family-owned stores, that's the target for us. We don't care what it looks like on the outside. Right. We just want that relationship with the family, and that's what we're trying to build. So.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I had a guy at one of those small stores hand me his wholesale catalog, and he said, you can't take this home with you, but you can stand here and take pictures if you want. So I flipped through his catalog, taking pictures, and found some items that way, went home and researched. Right?
That's exactly what we're. And we did have one guy, he said, you can look through my catalog and anything you want, 10% over. And so that's what we're hoping for, but that takes time.
Yeah. But with consistent effort, you guys found 100 new products. So you were in Walmart. And one thing I've experienced just, from having seen Walmarts and we train a lot of people, and that is a great store.
Oh yeah.
I promise you the Walmart down the street, if you have one, has thousands of potential profitable replant ASINs in it. And a lot of those are only in that region. There's products I know that are here in our Indiana Walmarts that we've been known for a long time, and no one's touching them because it's an Indiana regional thing. I think we must be the only Walmarts that carry it. But I'd say at least 80% or so of the stock in a Walmart, you're going to find in other regions as well. So you got to kind of dig. So the regional opportunities, the stores that are only in your area, or maybe it's a store that's in every state, but they only got 2 stores in every state. Those are a gold mine as well for new product hunting, for sure. Hey, super short interruption before we get back to the content. I just wanted to let you know about a really cool deal that our friends at Helium 10 have put together, helium10.com, discount code SSMR, as in Silent Sales Machine Radio. 50% off your first month on a robust suite of tools used by over 1 million Amazon sellers around the world. Go check it out. Many users in our community swear by Helium 10. I love the data that they put out. They've put a lot of time and energy into creating a robust suite of tools that can really help you with your business, making good decisions on what to buy. Helium10.com, discount code SSMR. So the regional opportunities, the stores that are only in your area, or maybe it's a store that's in every state, but they only got 2 stores in every state. Those are a gold mine as well for new product hunting, for sure. Well, this is awesome. I want to hear a little bit about your experience with Carl. Like what brought you to that point? So you did coaching and then you brought Carl to town as well, I take it. Or did you go straight to?
Yeah, it was right to Carl.
Yeah,
I got you.
We talked to Jimmy. He called us and we talked to him for a while, and he, we said, well, we're interested in this. I'm sure we could do this on our own, but I don't want to wait. I want to jumpstart this. I don't want to wait 6-8 months to be profitable. I want to know what I'm doing. I want to know how to do it. And he said, okay. He said, I got a guy right there in Alabama. So we happened to be going down to Florida, and we stopped by and met Carl, and we knew right away that we wanted him to coach us.
You guys are the best leaders in this community.
He was wonderful.
Yeah, just an incredible. I actually got a call with him after this podcast episode, getting caught up in a couple of things. He's going to be one of the speakers at our Tampa event. We kind of left people hanging a little bit. I said, are you guys coming to Tampa in July? Carl's going to be one of our speakers. That's, of course, theprovenconference.com, our annual conference. So you guys are going to be there. Carl's going to be there, one of our speakers. But you guys are talking about the program, and I should have it memorized what it's called, but I'll stick it in the show notes, where we actually fly to your hometown, spend a few days, and before we leave town, we're going to help you find, I can't remember if it's 75 or 100 replens unique to you that you can start selling. We had one couple we interviewed, much like you guys a couple months ago, that said half of the replens they found in that weekend were still selling a year later at a very nice profit for them. So, it's not just flash in the pan stuff. We're going to help you find some stuff and get your business rocking. But you guys got to the point where you could do it yourself very quickly. Like you said, found 100 in a month. So is that the plan, to continue seeking out new replens?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're looking at more, I need to find more wholesale companies because we're still working out of our garage, but we're already looking for space, bigger space that we can have stuff delivered. Scott's going back and looking a little more into private label. He's got some things he's interested in. And so he still works full time. So,
right. What's the plan there? How much longer do you think you'll be full time?
Well, I'm already to a point where I'm comfortable enough, and I don't think my boss will watch this, but I'm comfortable enough that if we parted ways tomorrow, we could ramp this up and replace my income, before we lost anything, before we were lost. So I don't know. I like what I do. It's hard going from being an entrepreneur and making all the decisions for 20 plus years, going back into the corporate world. But I do have I work third shift, so I am the only salaried employee there. So it's as close to being on my own as I can be. I get to make all the calls, and he's a good guy. I like working for him. It's a good company that I work for. So I'm not in a rush to get out, but maybe this time next year we'll be in a position to really make a decision.
Yeah. So, but you got a good backup plan regardless. That's fantastic. I'm not as old as I look. I'm, lost my hair prematurely with the boys, but I could probably work for another 10 or 15 years if I chose to, but that's not really the plan.
No, it's not.
I got you. Well, yeah, you've got a whole new set of skills now, and it's something I just want to encourage you guys, as well as anyone who's listening who has learned the basics. You guys really do have a seat in the front of the class. If you just kind of imagined all the people who are trying to use the internet to grow a business and actually make money, if everybody who sets out on that journey, I've been doing this for 20 years, guys, so I've got a pretty good grasp on what I'm about to say. If everyone who sets out on that journey, I would estimate that maybe 5% actually find themselves in a position where they're making some money and it's a comfortable thing and they've got a routine and a system and it's predictable and stable. And the vast majority of the people fall into one of those black holes that you almost fell into, watching YouTube videos, buying some expensive course, and that course doesn't work, so they buy another course. And that one doesn't work, so they go into this other program and they look over their shoulder 5 years in and they've spent $20, $30, $50,000 and they don't have a whole lot to show for it. That's the vast majority of experiences people are having out there. So that sets up what I'm about to say is, now that you guys are actually making money on the internet, you're at the head of the class. You know what you're doing. And a lot of people don't. So there's a way to leverage that into even more income streams is where I'm going. Maybe for you guys, maybe for the listeners. Once you're actually putting money in the bank consistently, building a system, approaching this like an entrepreneur. So creating content, courses, writing a book, doing consulting, the proven product partnering strategy inside of our course, for example. Have you guys given any thoughts to those kind of things? Or what direction do you see your business going next?
Well, I think that, we'd like to, I think eventually, given the opportunity, we'd like to coach. It's something that we'd like to do. I don't know about the partnering thing. I don't know about that. That doesn't interest me too much, but coaching, I think that a few months more, and I'd like to get a little further into the wholesale and just build those relationships so we have a little more to give. But I think we're both interested in coaching at some point if the opportunity presents itself.
Well, that's how we build our coaching team is we have great people succeed and then say, hey, they got a teacher's heart. Yeah, we'll spend a little time bringing some other students along. That's how our coaching team has grown over the years. So yeah, let us know when you're ready, and we'll get you rocking. We've got a lot of students coming in and they need good people helping them out.
That's good.
It's good when you're comfortable and you can feel good about the organization you're working with. And we try to help on the web, on the Facebook group. We pipe in when we can. There's a lot of good information on there, and there's some misinformation on there. And,
that's right.
Try to set it straight when we see it, and try to help out when we can. But
yeah, we certainly appreciate that. Yeah, with 65,000 members, you get some people who don't know what they're talking about coming in boldly.
Yeah,
usually people have been there less than a month. Most of the head scratch questions and instructions, because we've got a real culture we've built. Once you've been around there 2 or 3 months, you kind of get a feel like, they do things a little different around here. They really do actually care. And thanks for stepping in and helping out in there. Yeah. And for the listeners, if you're not in our free Facebook group, you're really missing out. We hear from several people, guys, who say the only reason they're on Facebook, they hate Facebook. The only reason they're there is because of this group, which is really cool.
Yeah, me. That's him.
Is that you?
And I tried. Yeah, it is me. And it's really me because I don't have up until I've made her post, the year post that caught your attention, it wouldn't let me post it. It kept denying it. And I don't know Facebook because I don't use it. And it wouldn't let me post it because I didn't have a picture. I didn't have a picture of myself. So I just put our logo, our business logo, in place of my face because I refused to put a picture up there. I don't want to be part of Facebook.
Yeah, I feel
finally accepted it. And that's all it took. But me, I wanted to take some training. I don't remember if it was with your group or another, and I had to be through Facebook. That's the only reason I've done it.
That's beautiful. There's a lot of people that way, and just to get, not to go off into the weeds too far, but I think if, we're unapologetically Bible-based in our community and our leadership, a lot of Christians and a lot of, very patriotic. We love America. Like today's Memorial Day, man. And it hits us deep and we take these things seriously. Progressive culture doesn't like a lot of those stances. Facebook's a very progressive organization. Sometimes I wonder if our days aren't numbered, they've kicked a lot of other people out for a lot less than some of the stuff that I stand for. So I do encourage people to make sure you're connected with us in multiple ways. I get on our mailing list, for example, and the other ways that you have to stay in touch, because you just never know with these big platforms,
Yeah, that's true.
It's true.
That is true.
And Amazon's kind of the same way at times, all these big platforms. I've been saying for 20 years, if you're going to rely on a big platform for income, you need to kind of plan on multiple income streams, which is why I like encouraging good people like you hey, let's do some other things too. Coaching, consulting, get your own brand rocking, which maybe you could sell in other platforms besides just Amazon. We're a multiple income streams community. So I always like pushing people a little bit down that road when I get a chance.
Yeah.
I've often wondered when we're going to leverage the 65,000 people into a platform.
Yeah, there's opportunities there and challenges for sure. Something to talk about offline, perhaps, because we do have some ideas. It's a powerful group.
It is. It sure is. And, we've pushed some, I've got several people that work with me that have purchased the course, and friends that, around the country that have purchased it that aren't as active as we are. We're encouraging them, but, slowly but surely we'll help grow it.
Yeah.
We can do.
We've been doing it. I'm not so much as interested in size as I am in the quality of the people. It's not to get too religious or biblical, but Jesus changed the world with 12 people. We don't need 100,000 members.
Yes,
we need people that truly understand the vision of let's bring families together. Let's use the internet creatively to launch and grow multiple income streams. Let's do it with integrity and transparency and long term. That's one of the things that stood out to me about what you shared initially, Scott, was, you researched for a long time, and we're the ones that have been there a long time and we're still there. And everyone else is kind of popping up and piles of cash and new cars. And, like, I don't even want to look at the sales page after the stuff that they put in the pictures, I don't even. And here we are, it was just like, hey, here's what we got. Here's what it does. Join us. We've got hundreds of recent success stories, nothing flashy about it. And I like the kind of people that attracts. It almost repels the wrong people, right? So just good quality people.
Yeah.
What else do you guys have to share with the listeners? I mean, you've heard enough episodes. What else is on your mind? Anything that you guys wanted to bring into this show?
Well, you asked about numbers, and somehow we got away from it. So I'll give
any specific.
People always want to hear. So I just pulled up just before we sat down. We did start our first sale was May 21st last year. So that's when I posted the numbers that you saw was 209,000.
Right.
But
that was funny.
Comically, that was our most expensive shipment ever. And we only sent 7 items.
Wow.
We didn't know
7 different distribution centers.
7 shoes, 9 items. We didn't know what we were doing. We just wanted to test it, So we had this new printer and all this fancy stuff. And 7 different orders, 9 different distribution centers, $200. It was horrible. And that's when I said, we need training. And, so then Carl came about 3 weeks after that. And so from then till now, I just look, we're at $215,000 in sales. We have hit it has stagnated a little bit here recently. Like I said, with several people went right down our store and tanked all our top sellers. And when I mean tanked, we're talking stuff that we were selling $6,000-8,000 worth and just gone just like that. So that's when we decided to spread out, give ourselves a wider base so that we don't have to count on individual items as much. But
I guess the main lesson in that is you just can't get comfortable.
No.
When you have a good thing and it might last for a month, it might last for 2 months, but inevitably something's going to happen and you're going to have to get out and work again. And so we just keep adding and keep adding and keep adding. And
that's right.
Some things are great. Some things, if they sell 2 or 3, we say no, and you just move on.
But it's so easy to find more.
Nothing is a
nice
sure
thing about this model.
Yeah,
you can go find more anytime you want. With an intense, focused effort, you can go out and find a bunch more in just a few days. Well, that's what makes it redeems itself.
Yeah, right? And you change the criteria. I mean, we really weren't taking anything under 80. Our goal was 50% minimum, but really we weren't taking anything under 80 or 90% ROI.
Yeah,
nothing. And now we also look at how much does it weigh? How much packaging time is it going to take? I mean, we'll go down to a fast mover that all we're going to do is throw a sticker on and nothing else. 30% if it's going to move fast, just to fill in some gaps and to be box fillers at the end if it's light enough. But we're averaging, we sold 13,100 units for that 215,000. So it's like $16.46. Not huge, but it meets the minimum criteria. We average every shipment right around 90% ROI, somewhere in that range. And, you know, we're not taking any money out of the business. We're still building it. We're still buying racks. We're still buying tables as we need. We bought our helper a brand new computer system to take home. We're starting to duplicate everything so she can work from home. We don't need to take the money out. So we're continuously putting it back in, building it. When we get to the dollar figure that I want the business to be, I'll tweak the cost and get it to where I want the bottom line to be. But easily we can hit, even with the helper, I think we're going to be 17, 18%. So, I mean, not there now because we're still throwing money back into the business. Right. But easily I can get cost under control when we stop spending.
Yeah. And you're not paying any taxes because all your expenses are all your money's going right back into equipment. It's kind of the same strategy Amazon used when they grew the first, 10, 12, 15 years. They just put all their money back into growing. And then they had a very nice base on which to actually start earning a beautiful profit. Right. So that's kind of what you guys are doing. You got everything in place. You got the system. You got the proven strategy for finding more products anytime you need them. And that's a valuable lesson. I'm glad we included that transparency of some of these, $6,000 a month products, just crazy good products that someone else came along. That's replens, you're selling stuff that anyone else can come along and sell if they want to, but you're able to find so many of them. So you don't want to get lazy when those nice products come along. That's the time to be out looking for more. So that when it does eventually kind of crash, I'd be interested to know, maybe we should do some surveying of how long the average replen lasts for people. But you do hear these stories as well of ones people find in just years, 2, 3, 4 years, just keeps right on rocking.
And it's sometimes you go back and look at something that you sourced 6 months ago and it wasn't profitable then. And guess what? It is now. And it might only be profitable for a couple of months, but you take advantage of that for those couple of months.
Yep. You'll have a bunch of sellers come in and they'll all kind of race each other to the bottom and then they'll all go away. And here you are left standing if you go back and pay attention a couple months later, right? That's the game.
Yeah, it is. And it is a game. I mean, it is. You got to play it. Yeah. And, it's funny because our helper, she's going back and sourcing the same things we sourced that weren't profitable then, and they are now. And, listings pop up and go away. But there are a couple of things that I learned on some of your podcasts and some points of interest that I think that would help people out.
Sounds great.
Well, I guess there's 3. One thing I remember distinctly when I was looking to purchase, you had a fellow on a podcast and he talked about, he bought the pack 3 times. And I don't know if you remember, he bought it and turned it in, got his money back and then bought it again and got his money back. And then he bought it the 3rd time and finally did something with it.
Then he was a success. I don't remember who that was, but I remember that episode.
And so people that think that you can't try it and get your money back. Well, this guy did it twice before he finally did it. So that stuck with me. But another thing that we learned on I think it was maybe one of Jimmy's, and it really changed our business. Early on when we had rapid growth, and we did have rapid growth at first. And we put a fair amount of our own cash in to start with, but it goes quickly. It goes quickly when you're ramping up, buying equipment, paying for training, buying merchandise. We were strapped for cash, and we actually were hurting our growth because we didn't have any more cash. And we read on your site or Jimmy or somebody, you don't have to wait the 2 weeks for your check to come for the money to come from Amazon. You can take it in between. It's not as much, but it's a game changer. That changed our business. That was when we went through super rapid growth, was when we started getting money when we needed it. And we didn't learn that early enough on. So that's a key. And then I see people referencing they're using their bathroom scales and and we'll argue to the end, but they're using laser printers and all this stuff. we learned it at the truck stop. We learned it at our second business. Buy the best that you can afford from the get-go. You only buy it one time.
Yeah.
You can't you're going to play at this game or you're going to go at it seriously. And if it's going to be serious, you need to buy the equipment up front and buy what you can afford, or maybe what you can't afford, but what you know you're going to need.
Yeah. I think that would apply to coaching as well.
I think so. We got that money back. She had, obviously, we put it on the card and had that paid off in 3 months, maybe.
Yeah.
And it was substantial, and not everybody knows how much it costs. It's substantial, but you're investing in a business. And overall, this is our third business. This is cheap. It's cheap.
Wow.
It's cheap compared to starting most businesses.
The price, the expenses, even if you go all in and say, all right, give me everything you guys recommend. I want the top. You're talking a tiny fraction of like a franchise, tiny.
Right.
Fraction. And you start earning your money years before. Like if you buy a franchise, which is an equivalent comparison as far as the revenue you can generate from this business would be some kind of name brand franchise. You could be a couple of years before you see something positive if everything goes great with some of those deals. And here we're talking a few months in and you're breaking even and making money. And that's if you stick to a decent pace. Some people do that in a month. They're making incredible returns just from the course. I mean, the course is right now it's on sale, $30 to get in. You get everything. You take it serious and hit it hard. Doesn't take you long to make that much money.
No, sure it doesn't.
So I appreciate those points you made. That's really cool stuff, Scott. Thank you for that, man.
Yeah, well, you only get one shot at helping people sometimes. So
I think you guys are going to be around. I think you're going to be some great coaches. In retirement and like, hey, this is what we do for retirement. Who wants to come hang out in retirement and learn how to make a few extra bucks and travel and go see the kids when you need to, and see different parts of the country and source while you're there. Make it a tax deductible trip, right?
Well, we just did one last weekend. And actually we're considering some coaching again to get us up to speed in another area quicker. So the learning never ends, and we can do it on our own certainly, but if we can get there faster and somebody can help you.
Obviously we see the value. There was value in coaching. Everything, like Scott said, everything that we paid was paid off within 3 months. It was done. And I don't, people say, well, it's so expensive and I can't afford. Well,
can you afford not to?
Can you afford not to? Yeah.
That's a great question. Yeah.
It really, we could have done it on our own, but we already had the entrepreneurial spirit and we knew business. And I had already set up 3 businesses. So, I knew that we could have done it on our own. I didn't want to wait. The things that, for people that are curious, what advantages did it give us? It opened our eyes to, we were steering clear of glass because it scared us. He said, that's just the name of the business. That's the name of the game. So we got into glass. We weren't thinking about selling 6-packs or 12-packs or 10-packs. That opened that up to us. But the software packages, I would have never spent the money for some of the packages that he said, this is what you need. Because he asked the question, is this a hobby or is this for real? And I said, this is for real. He said, okay, this is what you need.
Right.
And we bit the bullet and paid for it. We would have never done that early in the game. And they were game changers. So that's what coaching does. It points you in the direction that you need to be. And if you don't take it, you wasted your money. But if you take it, you're balanced 6 months ahead at least.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Our definition of a good transaction in my organization has always been, we want people to look back over their shoulder 6 months from now and think, wow, that was a great decision to put that money in to what they suggested. The course, the training, the coaching, whatever it is. That's my definition. And that's a very biblical based Hebrew definition, traditional definition of what a transaction is. It's the beginning of a lifelong relationship, right? So that means you want to look back favorably upon that first interaction, right? So that's what we built in. We aim to deliver 10x value of whatever we charge for any product. So that's how we price often. We say, what's this worth? If someone takes it seriously, divide that by 10 that's our price point because we want to deliver 10x value. So some pulling back the curtain a little bit on, as I look around, 20 years is no joke in this industry. I've seen a lot of people rise and fall and come and go, and have good people like you kind of recognize and pay attention to those little details that you're pointing out today, some of those little things that you guys noticed, and the refund policy being one of them. It's very unique in the industry, how friendly we are with our refund policy. And we even tell people who get a refund from us, hey, here's your money back. If there's anything we can do to serve you, please let us know. We're still here for you. In any way that we can, answer any questions. Our Facebook group is free. Here's some free content. We leave you better than we found you is our theme there. So I appreciate you guys pointing some of that out. But what about you, Jerry? Any final thoughts as we start to wrap this one up? Anything on your mind that you wanted to share today?
No, I just want to encourage anybody who, thinks that they can't do this. I read so many stories, people getting discouraged. They go out, they can't find refunds. They're not, it's doable. You have to work at it. It's not just going to come knocking on your door. You have to get out and you have to get in and start sourcing if you're doing refund, and you have to work at it. But I'm not working anywhere near as much as I was. I'm already looking forward to the next person that I'm going to hire. And, it's going to grow from here. And I'm excited. It's fun. It's fun. Yeah. It's hard work, but I'm having a good time and I'm making money. So what more can you ask for?
That's awesome.
Don't let her fool you. She'll be out there at 5:00 in the morning, and I go to bed and I get up at 7:45 at night, get ready for the next day, and she'll still be out there working. So is it doable?
Being in my garage?
Yeah, in the garage, and it's it's nice to have it there, and then it's also bad to have it there because. Anytime she's got a free moment, she's out there working at it. But
sure,
it doesn't come easy. Nobody said it was get rich quick. Nope. It doesn't say get rich quick replens. It's effort, just like anything else that's worthwhile. And her feet will hurt, and her hands are sore. But we see the end game.
Yeah,
and, so that's what people have to know. If you invest the time, you can invest the money, but if you don't want to put the time and it's not in your heart, it's not going to make it.
Yeah. So everything worth having is going to require work. And you guys haven't had businesses, it really is. It's a rare thing. It's a beautiful thing when you find a model where if you put in the work, you're going to get the result. Because a lot of models, you can put in plenty of work and it may or may not work out. I remember them teaching me in business school, you got about a 10% chance of surviving those first 3 years, stuff like, why do I want to be an entrepreneur? That sounds crazy. Right? So when you do find a model where if you put in the work, you get the results. If you follow the system, pretty predictable strategy we've got going here. It's a thing of beauty to entrepreneurs. And I think that's what you guys recognized as entrepreneurs is that just because you decide to start a business doesn't mean it's going to work. This one does, but it's still work.
It is work. It is work, but you don't have to go looking for customers. That's the nice part. Yeah. You just have to find what they're going to buy. Yep. That's the part that you can control. A lot of businesses, you can't bring customers in, and, they're everywhere on Amazon.
Yeah. And that's what I've been teaching Scott from day one, man. 20 years ago, the first version of my book was, hey, all these platforms are spending all this money attracting a crowd and saying, hey, come borrow our crowd. You don't have to build your own crowd anymore. You don't have to find your own customers anymore. That's the beauty of these platforms. The risk, of course, is they own the platform, which is why we like multiple income stream strategies over the long term. But you guys have certainly built an impressive business, and it's an honor to get to know you guys a little bit. I can't wait to see you in Tampa and your one hire as well. I want her there. I'd love to meet her. I'll look for the 4 foot nothing, right?
Yeah. That's about right.
Oh, that's great. Well, I think I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. I think this is a tremendous episode. Very real, very authentic, very transparent. That's what we do around here. We just share real stories of real people building cool businesses. And it's always an honor to hang out with the listeners and the viewers. If you're watching us on YouTube today, you should know you can go to silentjim.com anytime you want. And you're going to see a whole bunch of episodes that you're not able to watch on YouTube because they're audio only. And we don't put those on YouTube yet. So hundreds of episodes actually. So go check those out. But if you want to leave us a little help, and we don't ask for any payment, but we do say, hey, leave us a review, a thumbs up, follow us, like us, that sort of thing. let us know what you thought by sending us an email. All the links, as a reminder, silentjim.com. You can go there, anything we talked about today. If we missed one, let us know. We'll add it to the show notes. But God bless the Business Building Warriors. And to my guests today, man, you guys were awesome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
It truly was an honor. And to the Business Building Warriors out there listening, we'll have another great episode for you again real soon. Until then, God bless you. We're in your corner. We're here for you. Let's keep growing together. Talk to you soon. Hey, before we go, just a quick thing. I wanted to remind you that Helium 10 has become a great sponsor of this show. They've got an offer exclusive for the audience, the listeners, the business building warriors of this community. If you go to helium10.com and use the discount code SSMR, as in Silent Sales Machine Radio, you get the tool that's being used by over 1 million Amazon sellers at this point. They're actively tracking over 2 billion different products on Amazon at any given time, providing data and helping you make good decisions on what products you should and shouldn't sell, as well as an entire suite of products that help you run your entire Amazon business instead of piecing it together a little bit from here, a little bit from there. It's a great tool. Many, many coaches on our team use it, the content creators. I know that Nathan, our coaching director, swears by it as well. So we were very excited to bring them on as a sponsor. Again, Helium 10. Discount code SSMR, and they'll take good care of you. Hey, God bless you, Business Building Warrior.